The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host for another wonderful day. And we've got a little interesting action out here going on, but pretty much a foregone conclusion that we've got light volume and not a lot going on until we come back on Tuesday. Of course, the 3-day weekend. And, you know, they'll push it up a little bit. They'll push it down a little bit. And, of course, we'll have the rare odd stock with the short squeeze in it, and we're going to talk about those. We also see some other interesting action going on in the market. And for me, that is basically the big hedge funds and the filings that we've gotten over the last 5 to 7 days. Now, what those have shown is that a lot of these pretty smart guys on Wall Street have been going short some of the bigger name stocks out here, which I think is very interesting. They're not poaching the smallest of the bunch, and we'll get to that in a minute. But I continue on. Anyway, going to have a good day out here, I think. I've made more money the week after this week by paying attention to what's going on while everybody else is gone. When they come back, it takes them 3, 4, 5 days to catch up. And while you're not going to make a lot of money today, paying attention today can make you a lot of money tomorrow, actually next week. But it is a little bit like that. As always, we like to start the show with a little histoire.
That it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
And on this day in 1720, the earliest known blind pool appears in the London Daily Post, and it advertises a prospectus offering stock and a proposal for raising the sum of 6 million sterling to carry on a design of more general advantage and more certain profit than any undertaking yet set on foot. There is no record of whether the investors who bought this pig in a poke ever earned any money, but we can safely assume that the general advantage and certain profit went to the promoters, not to the public. And, you know, we think a lot of this stuff is new, pools, dark pools. There's almost nothing new on Wall Street. It's all happened before. And as a wise man once said, if you don't know your history, you're destined to repeat it. But right now, we're probably seeing more games per square inch on the stocks that are moving than any others. And we'll get into all of them out here today. You can always give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com. And, of course, you can also post a message in the den if you would like to. And I know it's kind of quiet out there. It is, you know, I can always tell just by the way people are driving whether or not they've already checked out for the weekend. And almost every Friday by noon, you can see that everybody's thinking about everything else. They're all talking on their cell phones and texting. They're doing everything else other than driving. They are in a slowpoke mood. No one wants to get up to the light. It's more than enough if, well, maybe I'll move, maybe I won't. And it's kind of a lethargic way of people driving. I don't know if you could put calipers around it and measure it exactly, but I can tell that the people are already checked out. They're not real into doing anything, either to getting work or getting home or getting to the store. Now, that'll change tomorrow afternoon about 4 o'clock, where they'll all start driving like madmen and nuts. Right now, keep an eye on them because they're all checked out. They're all nodding off and wandering away. And this is where I suspect this is where things get the most dangerous other than driving. And that is driving while you're asleep, because a lot of these people just acted like that. They drove like they're asleep, or they do incredibly stupid stuff. I saw at lunch today, probably one of the stupidest things I've ever seen. And that was somebody driving on the wrong side of the road, pulling in, cutting through a tire store, pulling back out, and turning back around yet a second time through the wrong way, so that he could cut maybe 1 minute off his time, 1 minute and 30 seconds. All I know is he had a New Jersey driver's license on his car. So maybe that's all we got to say. Wouldn't be any Florida people that ever drove like that, would there? I hope not. Anyway, of course, if you were watching out here this morning, you saw Lumber Liquidators was off fairly extensively. And I suspect I know the reasons why. Normally, a company that is embattled and under siege, when its CEO leaves, there's a relief rally. And maybe this one still gets it if they get a decent CEO. But he resigned unexpectedly, just walked in, threw it on the door, says, I'm out of here. And that pretty much, with what's going on with Lumber Liquidators, makes me think one thing of both having experience of sitting in a grand jury and, of course, trading for the last 16 years, 15 years, 16 years. What is 1998? 17 years? Be 17 years in November. Whew. Time flies. Anyway, what else do we have going on? And that is that he unexpectedly resigned means one of two things. One, the board he got wind the board was going to fire him or something like that. Probably until they had somebody lined up to come in behind him, that probably didn't follow. More likely, I suspect that he is under legal jeopardy and that he didn't want any more legal jeopardy coming his way. And of course, if you followed the news, there was a lot of discussion, kind of like Enron, that there was no way that you could be that good. Kind of like Madoff. There was no way that you were ever going to have those kind of returns in real life. No one wins the lottery 10 times in a row. And basically, that's what Madoff would have had to do if his numbers were right. So there were some news out there, some people looking and saying stuff at Lumber Liquidators highs out here that they were cutting a great deal of cost out of this product. And it was kind of tough to see. But basically, by putting, not using the glue that was FDA certified, FDA? I think it's FDA certified, and using the one that had formaldehyde in it, that they could get around it, which is kind of interesting because I am allergic to formaldehyde. All the way through high school, they had plastic chairs, and I think right then they already was starting to either come from China or some other third world stinkhole where they used formaldehyde in the plastic. And even through my pants, they would make my rear end red. I had to sit on a towel. You want to talk about embarrassing? I had to sit on a towel all the way through high school, or in very, very thick boxers or something. It would feel like there was a little static electricity coming through. Little ants in my pants. Made it very tough to sit still anyway. But that was because of formaldehyde. And I couldn't be around it in biology class, so I got to cash out there. Apparently, 1 out of about 2,000 people is deathly allergic to formaldehyde. I'm kind of semi-allergic to it. Now, they're afraid that it causes cancer. Some other things, it's kind of a little dubious about whether or not it can cause cancer, why it's sealed in the wood. But that's basically the discussion on this. Now, back to Mr. CEO Robert Lynch. The question is whether he knew about it or not, and what may have happened. I think that there's, if you're a betting man, what mostly has happened is that someone may in the company have turned on him, and they found out about it. So he went ahead and resigned. That way he doesn't have to take any more legal risk. And you never know who in the company is going to roll on you, or they're going to get in the grand jury. They're going to spill all the beans that maybe he actually knew this was going on. pretty much almost impossible to get the Chinese to come over here and testify against you in a court of law. So it had to be somebody on this side of the pond. But my guess is that we're going to find out that there's probably some kind of criminal action against the CEO, and it probably has one of his underlings testifying against him, and we'll find out about it later. Why did I go into such length on this? Do not think that this thing has a bottom yet. If they get a good CEO, a guy that is a turnaround specialist to come in, then I would start thinking about it. In the meantime, everything is toxic on this. Everything is radioactive. Stay away. Yeah, all plywood products have had it for a long time. It never bothered me in wood. Only bothered me in those plastic chairs. I was very happy the day I got out of that school. And not sitting on a towel anymore. Anyway, just a thought. Of course, grease is the word. It's got a groove. It's got a meaning. And it also has no deal. Another round of negotiations Tuesday, basically, and Wednesday went belly up with the Troika, the ECB, the European Commission, and the IMF. Greece presented a new revised budget that wasn't any really different than their previous budget. Its creditors said, thank you, but no thanks. Try again. And my guess is that I'm just wondering how long before people at the ECB say, you know, I could be on vacation. These guys are just yanking my chain, and it ain't going to add up to anymore. It's just a bunch of kabuki theater. Now, maybe they get paid to show up to these things and play tiddlywinks. I'm wondering if I wonder if they know the football game as a kid, where you roll up the paper into the triangle and have to shoot it through the uprights. But my guess is there's something like that going on. Not a lot happening. The question is whether or not they drop the word this weekend on a long 3-day weekend, or they drop it on 4th of July. Could they kick it down the road another 30 days? The answer is, or 40 days. I think the answer is yes. But I'm probably giving the odds about 30% that everything blows up this weekend, and probably 70% over the 4th of July. All they want to do is give everybody a little bit of idea and heads up. And when it becomes a big deal, it'll just be like everybody else has said in politics. Yeah, I killed him, but, we brought that up last week, so that's old news, which is kind of the same political trick that these guys are saying. You've known about it forever. Just that they did. It's no big difference now. Nothing to see here. Just move along. Don't mind the men behind the curtain. Just keep on moving. In the meantime, give me a call, 877-927-6648.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk, charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
By the way, formaldehyde came out of plastics that conceivably touch human skin in 1985. So I really don't have much problem doing it anymore. Occasionally, I will sit in the incredibly cheap plastic chairs from China, and I can start feeling it in about 5 minutes. And I know that they have formaldehyde in them, and I know that they're from China and probably never passed EPA. So I have a very educated rear end, at least for formaldehyde. Anyway, Best Buy came out with earnings. The profit in the 3 months through May 2nd was 37 cents a share. Analysts were about 29 cents, and you can put about 80% of this in the Apple iPhone business, and to a lesser extent, the Samsung, by the way that the quarter broke. Most of this was Apple, though. They probably should do well, probably in through the end of this month, and my guess is once we hit summertime, we're going to see a fairly decent top in the amount of iPhones sold. From seeing sales figures around the globe, it looks like the majority of people that wanted to upgrade and could upgrade in their upgrade cycle, especially AT&T, which has the biggest bunch of them, is pretty much satisfied. And not going to see a lot of change in that. Is it going to fall off a cliff? The answer is no. Is it going to be as good as these numbers? No way. Now, summer is also an infamously slow time in electronics retail. You don't have any football games. Everybody's been cooped up all winter. There's not a lot of new products that are going to come out probably before November to move it. And my guess is that Best Buy is probably a couple of weeks close to a top. And we're probably going to see, I don't know, September, late September, maybe a low in this stock where you can get ready for them trying to sell super high ultra definition televisions. If you listen to the show with Tom O'Brien on Friday, we were talking about at least the new DVD standard for ultra high definition TVs coming out for the DVDs, and that may be enough to really get people starting to buy these ultra high definition TVs. They basically said that sales were up on big screens a bit, but if you look at the margins in those TVs, even Best Buy doing much better than Walmart on them, they're still infinitesimal compared to the margins that they make selling iPhones and selling a lot of other things. And of course, you can make a case that they've made a good lot of dough selling washers and dryers and all the other stuff as people have bought new homes, as I suspect that that is crested, and we're going to see kind of back to a normal or a normalized run rate in housing sales. Best Buy, probably its best days are against us. We'll have a okay Christmas. I think the answer is yes, but they need something to really move the market, and it's not going to be watches from Apple, and it's not going to be big screens till late in the year. And there's just not a whole lot of catalyst to get people to drive in there. I've been in the stores probably, I don't know, I'm going to say 7 times in the last month. Every time I try to get a hold of a couple of sales representatives, ask them what's going on, and poll them. It's not a scientific idea, but I go to 3 different stores. I stop at one on home from the Tech Insider Hour on Fridays. I check one that is near where I go to eat lunch, like today, and one over in kind of the downtown area. But pretty much the same thing. I walked in there today at 11:30 and the store was empty. And I just don't see, you get a little business on the weekends, but that's it. Also, kind of weird, Best Buy stays open till 8 o'clock on Sunday nights. Now, what's that about? I walked in there and I wanted to see a week ago on Sunday night. I went in there to see what was going on. I had something to return, and it was empty. And I mean, there were a lot of people sucking down hourly wages, and I was the only person in the store. I think that was about 7 o'clock. So maybe they need to look at a few things going on. Maybe they have meetings or something. Hard to tell, but there was nobody in the store. My guess is that we're going to see this thing pull back all the way until we see the whites of the eyes of those big screen televisions and the ultra high definition DVDs. Shake Shack, again, why the cat is away, the mice will play. And they filed for a trademark for chicken. Shake Shack, huge short interest already. It's much like all these other companies that had ludicrous evaluations coming public. It's another one, and you're going to see big moves in these stocks with high short interest for people that don't have the gumption to sit through them. Up almost 9% today. We'll be back.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's Nadex.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
If you're like me, you see the world's emerging nations as a very real opportunity, as these countries and their economies are developing right before our eyes. And you can rest assured that Everbank has spotted this opportunity too. In fact, they have just released the second running of their 5-year Market Safe Futures Economy CD. This is a CD that could really deliver, but you only have until June 11th to take advantage. Consider the facts. If the future economy's currencies beat the US dollar over the CD term, you'll get all of the upside at maturity. And should they lose, no worries. There's zero downside risk here, as you get back 100% of your deposited principal. Don't miss out. The June 11th funding deadline is quickly approaching. So hurry over to everbank.com/TFNN-CD for more information, including important product details and disclosures. Once again, that's everbank.com/TFNN-CD. Everbank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
In the meantime, looking at the S&Ps out here, up 5.5 points, still under 2 billion shares for the day, so volume is very light. I expect us to drift up. I was thinking at the beginning of the week maybe 2140, 2145, and it may even be weaker than that. We'll have to see how we do tomorrow. My guess is they'll try to push this market up just another 10 points or so to squeeze as many shorts that won't be able to sit on their hands over the weekend on this. We're going to talk about shorts pretty extensively here in the last half of the show. Anyway, Shake Shack was up, but this basically just games out there. They're using this as the excuse to goose the stock, and we've seen this in all these stocks with ludicrous evaluations. Right now, for all the shares or stores that this company has, which is like 13 or 15, you come in at about $42 million per store, which is, it's nuts. So you got to watch a lot of these stocks that just continue to be and have moves like GoPro and all these other ones where they were selling a lot of the sizzle and not much steak. Shake Shack's no different out here. But again, with so few shares trading, all it takes is one little thing out here, an upgrade by a company, and a well-placed buy order early on, maybe before the market opens. And you can get a lot of shorts running, especially into a 3-day weekend. It is a mad, 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 mad market. And one of the things I wanted to get through today, hopefully we get through them all today, and I get through another list of shorts tomorrow. Wanted to start looking at companies out here where hedge funds are starting to throw some big weight to the short side on in these markets. And amazingly enough, this isn't the weakest of the stocks. It looks like they're starting to come out of a lot of the stocks that have come down already. And these big hedge funds are putting their sights on the big companies. This is a list of about 25 companies that have had a decent spike in the last 10 days of short interest. When we start off here, let's start off with ABAVI, ABVVIE. I guess that's the way it's pronounced. If I did this correctly. Come on. Did I do something wrong? My internet's been acting up. There we go. Anyway, maybe someone can tell me in the den how this thing's pronounced. ABAVI. Anyway, a lot of these stocks really going sideways again. We've been talking about these asymmetrical triangle patterns. This one's got a nice little one going back about 2.5 weeks right now. Nothing you can really hang your head on other than light volume and a ton of dojis out here. So I'm going to be watching this one closely, but I don't know a great deal about it. Haven't watched it a lot. One I do know a great deal more about is Boeing. This is, if I was going to be short some stock, all this has made a couple of ABC downs, 18 bucks for the complete ABC out here that completed at 140.43. I just, for a company that's got 5 or 6 years worth of orders, if they have 3 years of worth of orders still out there, they'll get the other 3 back. It's hard for me to think that a lot of investors are going to jump on Boeing and go out the door stage left, as long as crude continues to stay fairly benign and the orders continue to be and do well, and they basically trounce Airbus everywhere they go. And of course, Airbus has put huge amounts of money into the A380, and they haven't sold one in a year. I know that the Boeing company hasn't sold a 747 in that same period of time. They sold 2 to replace the 747s of the Air Force One fleet. But other than that, I think Airbus kind of bet their future on that A380, and I think the real pain is yet to come on those. My guess is that we've kind of seen a low, and if Boeing pulls back, it's probably not going to break that previous low of 140.43. At least I'm not bearish on it. One that I think is a lot better setup out here if the market turns down for some short action in these big names is Caterpillar. And a lot of people are thinking that and going short now. Very light volume, up up a buck or so today. When this thing really started coming down was a decent gap on some decent volume. 11 million shares back on the 5th of January, and we're getting awful close for that. If this thing could get back into that $90 range, I certainly think that this thing may be in a nice trading range between that $90 and $78. Certainly, we talked about this thing making a low on much lighter volume. That $78.81 low on January 29th at 27 million shares got tested with 7 million shares. So you pretty much had to be long this one. But it is tough to think that you get up here and there just isn't a lot of appetite as we get back to where this huge downtrend really started in Caterpillar, which is on that 5th of January of this year. CRM, I've been very suspect about all the phony buyout offers and beliefs in it. And now that I see all the hedge funds getting short this thing, it makes a lot more sense. The phony, you can tell because, of course, they're all, will slap each other on the back kind of stuff with Microsoft. And just because he ate breakfast with them doesn't mean that the two CEOs are going to be doing some group hugs anytime soon and singing Kumbaya. It is just, especially the Sifacanic press that we see with people like Kramer pushing it. My guess is this thing should have been, I was going to be surprised if it wasn't up $10 for what they were saying. That this thing is up $4 tells me a great deal more about what's going on, and that is they're trying to keep people out of this stock. They think that it can go higher, and the last thing you want to do is let the shorts know that maybe there's some decent cash on the short side of this stock. The valuations are ludicrous. If this thing would to stumble, it would truly do a LinkedIn. I think you could see this thing down 20% overnight with a one bad earnings report, maybe even 25%. The ballistic curve that this thing is on is amazing. Now, it's not that it's a bad company. It's just, anything can be overpriced. It certainly can be. But at least the people of the street with big hedge fund money are picking out this one. And they really started going short right after this high volume spike that went to $78.46 on April 29th. They started shorting, and we started seeing a lot of those filings come through. CVX, Chevron, we're starting to see a lot of short action in these big energy behemoths. And I don't see a lot out here that would say me technically I want to short this thing right now. But again, big asymmetrical patterns like Apple had on its earnings. And I wouldn't see jumping in anything here. But they're shorting Chevron and they're shorting ExxonMobil, which is also going kind of sideways out here for the last 7 days. And the question is whether or not there's somebody just sitting on the top of these. Now, again, none of these have huge short interest yet. Most of these things are 3 or 5% short interest because they haven't been heavily shorted yet. But we're seeing that action. I'm going to look forward to this weekend to see how many more filings of these hedge funds start seeing a lot more of these guys short out here. In the same vein that Caterpillar looks like it was getting to be a good short. Deere has already confirmed that. It got back up into its previous high and fell apart, of course, 5 days ago. The February 18th high had almost 6 million shares, $92.78, got within 50 cents of it on May 14th and then fell down. It's kind of been going sideways out here a bit, but starting to see people short it. One that I kind of think that Disney could probably continue on. Maybe the time to short this thing, if you were going to be short, would be when Star Wars movies come out next fall. I think probably shorting into the movies coming out is the best bet, but not a lot of upside energy in this thing for the last 7 days. Volume has all been nothing. Could this pull back to that $97 range halfway through this big gap up that we saw in the first few days of February? The answer is yes, but I continue to think that this one is going to have to sit on the tree a little bit longer before it gets ripe. Exelon, I don't know a lot about this stock either. I'm going to spend some time on it this weekend. Not a real good technical signal, but certainly one of these stocks that tends to look like it's got a problem. Now, General Electric, we've seen some huge shorting in this, and I find that very interesting for a $27 stock. This thing has been slowly trying to make ABC back up after earnings. And it looks to me like a lot of people in the street think this is a great time to get out of this stock because it's not had any volume other than that big day up. And even the last few days, as we've gone higher, the volume has been tepid. There has been no sign of strength after the first sign. And that's also problematic out here. You like to see some continuation days, and you got none out of General Electric. Halliburton, another one of these in the energy sector. Certainly, there's a theme out here of these top 25 big cap stocks being shorted, and that is the energy. When we look at associated Deere and Caterpillar and ExxonMobil, up a little bit today is Halliburton. This thing, can you say that you'd want to short it today? The answer is no. It's kind of in no man's land out here. But certainly, it seems like these people are all over this. IBM is another one out here that you have to kind of look at. Now, technically, this thing looks like a monster of a short, setting up out here. And the question is whether or not Buffett would just continue buying shares no matter what of this company and keep it up. I mean, he's got all the cash where he could probably own 100% of IBM. I don't know how big it is, but he could buy a great deal. He could keep it up for 2 years. And here comes my knock on Buffett is the greatest investor of all time. If you own, let's say, 98% of the shares, you basically set the price. So any of these companies that he's bought so many of these shares for, what's the fair market value of it when he owns them all? The answer is you don't know until he starts selling them all. And the question is, what would happen to something like IBM if he decided to leave? Unfortunately, you can't bank on that. And he's pretty good about holding shares of companies he owns. But is it worth $175? Probably not if Buffett had not bought his and these shares were in general distribution. But boy, I tell you what, if I'm looking at this chart out here, I'm saying 177, 178. Boy, I would really get tempting out here. The volume pattern out here says this thing can just fall apart and go right back down to the 150s, 149s, and probably the highest probability of seeing one of these on this list out here, one of the best looking ones anyway. Intel, kind of interesting to see people shorting Intel, but especially I think they've got one more upgrade cycle for Windows 10 this fall. I think, you know, if you've got a monopoly like Boeing, where you make, you know, 70% of the planes or 80% of the planes, it's hard for me to short a monopoly. Intel is a de facto monopoly on high-end processors. Are they going out of business tomorrow? Never. There's no way, there's no scenario I could ever figure out. Same thing with Boeing. If they're not making 787s, I'll guarantee you they're going to be making B-2 bombers because we're going to be in a war. Same thing with Intel. It's hard for me to see anything out here that says that they go out of business, which is, you know, something like lumber liquidators you might be betting on. Intel, all you're betting on is maybe they come back a little. And as far as I can tell, this thing's in an upper trading range, and I would not be betting against it. There are far better and more wicked stocks out here. Johnson & Johnson. Now, this one, very interesting because, of course, it tried to break out and couldn't get a lot of volume just a couple of days ago on the 18th. Had a huge spike, basically closed below it. Had 2 days with lighter volume above these previous two highs at 103. The first one was 103.41 and 103.35 on March 23rd. So you had kind of a triple top out here. This thing is pulled back into the trading range today, and volume is light. And we want to probably be watching tomorrow and Tuesday how this thing comes back in. But that one also looks like there's something very different going on than the market pundits out here are talking about. Merck, another one of these companies where I think this was one of the bigger shorts out here. So a lot of people think Merck is looking for trouble out here. Of course, certainly off its big highs, and with the IBB pretty close to the highs, you'd have to think, you know, what's going on out here. But we'll look at this a little bit more. But almost kind of a little double top. Hadn't quite made it there, but no juice the last 7 days as it's pushed higher up here. Nice gap to fill also out here. We'll be back in a minute.
Trade with confidence and clarity while using the software that thousands of institutional traders rely on to make the best and most accurate decisions. Choose from 1,000 equities, currencies, and futures instruments utilizing the TAS architecture. As seen on Bloomberg terminals worldwide, the TAS Profile Scanner is a benchmark technical filtering system that thousands of traders rely on, and now you can too. For a limited time for TFNN subscribers only, we've reduced the price to just $97. That's over 75% off. John Logan hosted a special subscriber-only webinar in December, and you'll gain access to that archive as well, so you can learn exactly what the TAS Profile Scanner can do for you. Try this product out. No matter what you trade, the TAS Profile Scanner can help you make more informed trading decisions. There's no obligation to pay anything. Don't let this offer pass you by. Get your 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner today by signing up at TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy. A set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders, take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And as we come back, kind of up here at the highs of the days, but like I said, not much going on out here. Ooh, what else we have? I'm just looking at the S&Ps here. 2132, up 6 points on the S&P cash, 2.1 billion shares. So looks like we're going to come in at about 2.7, probably 2.7 billion shares for the day, which is going to be fairly light for the New York Consolidated Tape. Of course, if you're new to the show, I quote the what's known as the Consolidated Tape. That's all the Amex shares. That's all shares of anything traded on the New York Stock Exchange, whether it's traded there or on some ECN somewhere else. And basically, it's all the volume. My guess is that'd be about 500,000 maybe on the floor traded. I don't know. I pretty much look at the full volume, but I digress. Anyway, not much happening out here. I suspect that they're going to try to push this up to 2140 for the close tomorrow, and we'll keep an eye on that. But other than that, not much going on. Gold's off $4. Everybody is back to oil as the fear trade. It's up $1.79 today. Buck back up above $60 at 60.78. They went after the dollar this morning, and it looks like it held 95 pretty well. Got to $94.97 on the continuous contract, trading at 95.28. The U.S. government would like to try to crush that down, and every time they do, the Europeans do something to try to water down their currencies even more. So we've got to this kind of a race for competitive devaluation, which is going to be tough on basically gold and silver. And, of course, we've got bad news at the doorstep. I can't take one more step. Anyway, bye-bye American Pie. Of course, everything pretty much going against anything that would be good for us in the Mideast. And I suspect a lot of what's happening in the crude price and going into the weekend is just hoping something doesn't blow up in our face over there in the Mideast over the weekend. So that's it. Anyway, we were looking at Merck out here. This thing's kind of made, tried to make a little top. I would hope it get back up there and test $61.38 one more time. But that hadn't held the people back in the hedge fund business. They've been going whole hog short that. Pfizer, another one, which give you kind of interesting idea out here to see so many of these high flyer big companies being shorted. But Pfizer is another one. I don't see anything other here. Maybe you could make a case that Pfizer is setting up an ABC down right now. I just think that there's probably better money in stocks that are a little weaker out here. Regenerative Pharmaceuticals, REGN is another one out here that, now this one is making a little bit better signal. And I can see maybe why they were shorting this thing on the way up. The last high at 495 at 50 came in with 1.5 million shares. As we broke through that on the 19th, basically 700,000 shares, half that. Yesterday, 822,000 shares. Today, 647,000 shares. So your confirmation that a top end would be, as long as we keep this light volume and a close below $495.50 yet again. But a lot of these guys, you know, they'll be short these things a year or two. It's not, they're not shorting it for the next 60 days. Anyway, we'll see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. Remember to sell when you can, not when you have to. And hang on, 2 more hours of Tom O'Brien. And then Andy Heck.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. You're watching Tiger TV.